Throughout the annals of history, there are fleeting moments when the course of human destiny is irrevocably altered. These are not the slow, gradual changes that define centuries, but rather the rare, dazzling instances when time itself seems to pause, and the weight of the world rests on the shoulders of a single individual or event. Stefan Zweig, a master of storytelling and historical reflection, referred to these as star moments, luminous points in the vast expanse of human experience where the trajectory of civilization shifts dramatically. Zweig was captivated by the power of individuals to shape the flow of history. He believed that in certain critical junctures, the actions, decisions, or even mere presence of one person could ignite revolutions, topple empires, or inspire generations. These moments, though brief, echo across time, their brilliance undimmed by the passage of years. Whether it was the determined vision of an explorer, the creative genius of an artist, or the unwavering resolve of a revolutionary, Zweig sought to illuminate how human agency could transform the seemingly inevitable into something entirely new. In this collection, Zweig invites readers on a reflective journey through some of history's most defining episodes. With a keen eye for detail and an appreciation for the fragility of such moments, he unearths the stories behind pivotal events. As we explore these tales, we are reminded of the profound interplay between chance and choice, fate and will, and how, in a single moment, an ordinary life can rise to extraordinary significance. Let us embark on this journey, guided by Zweig's vivid prose to uncover the star moments that have shaped our shared human story. In the spring of 1453, the ancient city of Constantinople stood as a bastion of the Byzantine Empire, surrounded by the powerful Ottoman forces led by Sultan Mehmed II. For centuries, the city had withstood countless sieges, its formidable walls a testament to the ingenuity of its builders and the resilience of its defenders. Yet by the mid-15th century, the Byzantine Empire was a shadow of its former glory, its territories reduced to a fraction of their once vast expanse. The city's survival hung by a thread, and its fate would soon be decided. Sultan Mehmed II, a young and ambitious ruler, envisioned Constantinople as the crowning jewel of his empire. He recognized its strategic importance, straddling Europe and Asia, and controlling key trade routes. To realize his vision, he assembled a massive army, numbering over 80,000, and prepared a campaign unlike any the world had seen. His forces included soldiers from across his domain and advanced weaponry, most notably enormous cannons designed to shatter the city's defenses. These cannons, crafted by Hungarian engineer Urban, were a revolutionary innovation, capable of firing massive projectiles that could crumble even the strongest walls. Inside the city, Emperor Constantine XI Paleologos led a vastly outnumbered garrison. With fewer than 10,000 men to defend the city, he relied on the strength of the Theodosian walls, which had withstood attacks for over 1,000 years. The defenders, a mix of Greeks, Venetians, and Genoese, worked tirelessly to repair breaches and repel assaults. The citizens of Constantinople prayed fervently, aware of the dire circumstances but determined to resist. On April 6, 1453, the siege began. Mehmed's cannons thundered day and night, hammering at the walls and sending shockwaves through the city. For weeks, the defenders repelled waves of assaults, their courage and resourcefulness delaying the inevitable. However, the relentless bombardment gradually took its toll, creating breaches that the defenders struggled to mend. The decisive moment came in the early hours of May 29th. Under the cover of darkness, Mehmed ordered a full-scale assault. His troops surged toward the weakened sections of the wall, overwhelming the exhausted defenders. Despite Emperor Constantine's valiant efforts fighting at the forefront and rallying his men, the Ottomans breached the defenses. As the dawn broke, the city fell. Constantine, refusing to flee, met his end on the battlefield, becoming a symbol of courage and loyalty. With the capture of Constantinople, Mehmed II fulfilled his dream and earned the title the Conqueror. The fall of the city marked the end of the Byzantine Empire and a pivotal moment in history. It signaled the rise of the Ottoman Empire as a dominant power and the beginning of a new era where the balance of power shifted decisively. The conquest also inspired awe and fear throughout Europe, as the once impregnable city had succumbed to the might of Mehmed's vision and the power of innovation. Thus, the fall of Constantinople became a star moment in the story of humanity, a dramatic turning point that reshaped the medieval world and ushered in a new chapter in history. In the year 1513, Vasco Núñez de Balboa, a Spanish explorer and adventurer, embarked on a journey that would forever change the world's understanding of geography. His name, once obscured by misfortune and debt, would come to be etched in history as the man who first glimpsed the vast expanse of the Pacific Ocean from the New World. It was a moment born of ambition, courage, and an unyielding desire to explore the unknown. Balboa's story began in the struggling colony of Santa Maria la Antigua del Darien on the Isthmus of Panama. As governor, he faced numerous challenges: hostile terrain, lack of resources, and frequent conflicts with indigenous peoples. Yet he heard rumors from local tribes of a great body of water to the south, rich with gold and treasures. For Balboa, these whispers were more than tantalizing. They were a beacon of opportunity, a chance to achieve glory and secure his place in the annals of Spanish exploration. With a small band of loyal followers, numbering around 190 men, Balboa set out through the dense, treacherous jungles of Panama in September 1513. The expedition was fraught with dangers. They hacked through tangled vegetation under the sweltering heat, crossed rivers teeming with crocodiles, and faced fierce resistance from some indigenous tribes. Yet Balboa's determination inspired his men, driving them forward despite the hardships. After weeks of grueling travel, Balboa reached the foothills of a mountain range. Local guides informed him that the ocean he sought could be seen from the summit. On the morning of September 25, 1513, Balboa ascended the peak alone, leaving his men behind for a moment of solitude. Standing atop the ridge, he beheld the vast waters of the Pacific Ocean stretching endlessly before him. It was a sight that no European had ever seen, a moment that symbolized humanity's unquenchable thirst for discovery. Balboa descended to the shore with his men, and, in a dramatic gesture, waded into the waters, sword in one hand and the Spanish flag in the other. There, he claimed the ocean and all lands it touched for Spain, naming it the South Sea. The declaration was as audacious as it was symbolic, reflecting the era's spirit of conquest and expansion. Balboa's discovery of the Pacific was more than a geographical milestone. It opened the door to further exploration, and eventually the establishment of new trade routes. Yet, for all his achievements, Balboa's own life would end in tragedy. Political rivalries and intrigue would lead to his execution just a few years later. Nonetheless, his leap into the unknown remains a testament to the courage and ambition that drive humanity to explore beyond the horizon. This star moment, the first sighting of the Pacific by a European, stands as a vivid chapter in the saga of exploration, an enduring symbol of the human spirit's boundless curiosity and desire to uncover the mysteries of the world. In the mid-18th century, George Friedrich Handel, one of Europe's most celebrated composers, faced a profound personal and artistic crisis. Once lauded for his operatic brilliance, he now found himself overshadowed by changing tastes and mounting financial troubles. The decline in public interest for his Italian operas and fierce competition in London's music scene had left Handel in despair. Stricken with poor health and plagued by debt, he withdrew from the public eye, his once brilliant career seemingly at an end. Yet within this darkness, a spark of inspiration ignited. In 1741, Handel received a libretto from Charles Jennens, a poet and devout Christian, who had assembled biblical texts to tell the story of Christ's life, death, and resurrection. The words resonated deeply with Handel, who saw in them not only a narrative of redemption, but also a reflection of his own struggles. With renewed determination, he set to work, pouring his soul into the composition. Over the course of just 24 days, Handel created Messiah, a masterpiece of sacred music that would stand as one of the greatest achievements in Western art. Fueled by a newfound sense of purpose, he worked tirelessly, often skipping meals and sleeping little, as if possessed by divine inspiration. The result was a work of profound beauty and emotional depth, combining majestic choruses, tender arias, and triumphant orchestral passages. The premiere of Messiah took place in Dublin on April 13, 1742, in a modest venue far from the grand opera houses of London. It was performed as a benefit concert to support local charities, reflecting the work's spiritual and humanitarian essence. From the first notes, the audience was captivated. The powerful Hallelujah chorus, with its soaring harmonies and jubilant proclamations, moved listeners to rise to their feet, a tradition that continues to this day. The success of Messiah marked a turning point for Handel. The triumph of the Dublin premiere restored his reputation and breathed new life into his career. More importantly, it demonstrated the enduring power of art to uplift and inspire, even in the face of personal adversity. Handel, once on the brink of obscurity, was resurrected, much like the subject of his greatest work. In the years that followed, Messiah would become a beloved fixture in the musical canon, performed by choirs and orchestras around the world. Its themes of hope, redemption, and renewal resonate across generations, reminding us of the transformative power of creativity. Handel's story is one of resilience, a testament to how the human spirit, when fueled by purpose and passion, can rise above even the deepest despair. His Messiah, born out of struggle, shines as a star moment in the history of music, a symbol of art's capacity to transcend hardship and speak to the soul. In 1792, France was at a crossroads. The French Revolution had unleashed both hope and turmoil, shaking the foundations of the old regime. Yet the young republic faced immense challenges, external threats from monarchies determined to crush the revolutionary fervor and internal strife, as the nation struggled to redefine itself. Amid this storm, a call arose for unity, strength, and the spirit of the people. A call that would take the form of a song destined to become a timeless symbol of revolution and freedom. The story begins in the French city of Strasbourg, near the border with Germany. Here, a captain of the engineers and amateur musician, Claude Joseph Rouget de Lille, was stationed. France had just declared war on Austria, and patriotic fervor was sweeping the nation. One evening, the city's mayor, Baron Philippe Frédéric de Dietrich, urged Rouget de Lille to compose a stirring march for the soldiers of the Rhine army, a song that could rally their spirits and inspire them as they marched to defend the revolution. Moved by the urgency of the moment, Rouget de Lille retired to his quarters and, in a single night of feverish inspiration, composed both the lyrics and melody of Chant de guerre pour l'armée du Rhin, war song for the Army of the Rhine. The song was a passionate call to arms, invoking the ideals of liberty, equality, and fraternity. Its opening lines, Allons enfants de la patrie, le jour de gloire est arrivé. Arise, children of the fatherland, the day of glory has arrived, captured the revolutionary spirit in powerful simplicity. The song quickly spread beyond Strasbourg. It resonated deeply with the people, who embraced its powerful imagery of battle and freedom. When troops from Marseille marched to Paris singing the anthem, their passionate rendition left such an impression that the song became known as La Marseillaise. By 1795, it was officially adopted as the national anthem of France, a distinction it holds to this day. The Marseillaise was more than a song. It became the voice of the people, uniting them in their struggle against tyranny. Its stirring melody and defiant lyrics galvanized revolutionaries, urging them to fight for their newly won freedoms. The anthem's influence extended far beyond France, inspiring movements for liberty across the world and becoming a universal symbol of resistance against oppression. Yet, the power of La Marseillaise was not without controversy. Over the years, it was banned and reinstated multiple times, depending on the political climate. Its fierce call for revolution made it a lightning rod in moments of tension, but also a rallying cry in times of hope. In the chaos of the French Revolution, La Marseillaise emerged as a star moment, a triumph of the human voice raised in song. Through its melody and words, it gave shape to the dreams and struggles of a people fighting for a better world. More than 2 centuries later, it remains a testament to the enduring power of music to inspire, unite, and give expression to the collective soul of a nation. In the mid-19th century, the promise of untold riches drew adventurers and dreamers to the American West, lured by whispers of a golden fortune waiting to be claimed. At the heart of this story lies John Augustus Sutter, a Swiss immigrant who arrived in California with grand ambitions. Sutter envisioned building a vast agricultural empire, a haven of prosperity and order in an untamed land. Yet, his dream would be undone by a twist of fate, one that set the stage for the California gold rush and the dramatic collapse of all he had worked to create. Sutter established himself in the Sacramento Valley, where he built a sprawling settlement known as Sutter's Fort. Through hard work and shrewd dealings, he amassed land, livestock, and laborers, becoming one of the most influential figures in the region. His fort became a hub of activity, a beacon for settlers and traders. Sutter dreamed of a flourishing colony under his control, where he would reign as a modern-day patriarch. In 1848, however, an event occurred that would change everything. James W. Marshall, a carpenter employed by Sutter to build a sawmill along the American River, stumbled upon a glimmering nugget in the water. It was gold. When he brought his discovery to Sutter, the 2 men agreed to keep it a secret, fearing the chaos that would ensue. But rumors spread quickly, and within months, the frenzy began. The California gold rush erupted with a force neither Sutter nor anyone else could have foreseen. Thousands of prospectors, known as 49ers, descended on the region, driven by dreams of striking it rich. Sutter's carefully cultivated lands were overrun by fortune seekers who showed little regard for his property or authority. Fields were trampled, livestock stolen, and fences torn down. The gold fever that gripped the masses left destruction in its wake. For Sutter, the irony was cruel. The very gold discovered on his land, which might have brought him wealth beyond measure, instead brought his ruin. Unable to enforce his claims or control the chaos, he watched helplessly as his empire crumbled. Legal battles over land rights further drained his resources, leaving him impoverished and embittered. By the time the gold rush reached its peak, Sutter, the man who had once dreamed of building a utopia, was a forgotten figure, his fortune and dreams buried beneath the tide of human greed. The story of John Sutter is a stark reminder of the unpredictability of fate. What begins as a stroke of genius, his settlement, his vision, can be undone in a single night by forces beyond one's control. The gold rush, a phenomenon that transformed California and the world, brought immense wealth to some but left many, including Sutter, in its shadow. This chapter in history stands as a star moment, not for the triumph of its protagonist, but for its poignant irony. It reveals the fragility of human ambition when confronted by the chaos of fortune, a theme that echoes through the ages and reminds us of the delicate balance between dreams and destiny. In the spring of 1917, Europe was a continent aflame. The First World War raged on, leaving millions dead and empires teetering on the brink of collapse. Amid this turmoil, Russia found itself in upheaval. The abdication of Tsar Nicholas II had left a fragile provisional government in power, while revolutionary fervor swept through the nation. It was into this volatile landscape that Vladimir Lenin, exiled leader of the Bolshevik Party, sought to return, a journey that would change the course of history. Lenin had been living in Switzerland, cut off from the revolution unfolding in Russia, but determined to shape its future. News of the February Revolution and the fall of the monarchy electrified him. He knew this was the moment he had been waiting for, the opportunity to bring his vision of Marxist revolution to life. However, returning to Russia was no simple matter. The war made travel perilous, and Lenin's radical reputation ensured he was viewed with suspicion by many. It was under these circumstances that the infamous sealed train plan was conceived. Negotiations with the German government, orchestrated through intermediaries, led to an extraordinary arrangement. Lenin and a group of his fellow revolutionaries would be allowed to travel through Germany in a sealed railway car. For Germany, the strategy was clear: facilitate Lenin's return and destabilize Russia further, weakening their enemy in the war. On April 9, 1917, Lenin and 31 companions embarked on their journey. The sealed train was both a literal and symbolic vessel. Its passengers were isolated from the outside world, forbidden to communicate with anyone along the route. Inside the carriage, debates raged as Lenin and his comrades discussed strategy, their words shaping the future of the revolution. The train moved inexorably toward its destination, carrying not just individuals but the seeds of an idea that would soon engulf Russia. On April 16th, the train arrived in Petrograd, where Lenin was greeted by a crowd of supporters at the Finland station. He wasted no time in making his intentions clear. Standing atop an armored vehicle, he delivered a fiery speech, condemning the provisional government and calling for a socialist revolution. His arrival injected new energy into the Bolshevik movement, transforming it from a marginalized faction into a force capable of seizing power. The months that followed were marked by relentless political maneuvering, agitation, and planning. Lenin's vision, embodied in his April theses, galvanized the Bolsheviks and resonated with the masses, particularly workers and soldiers disillusioned by war and hardship. By October, the Bolsheviks had orchestrated the overthrow of the provisional government, ushering in the Soviet era. Lenin's journey aboard the sealed train is a star moment in history, not only for its dramatic elements but for what it symbolizes: the transformative power of ideas and the lengths to which individuals will go to see them realized. His determination and political strategy reshaped Russia and reverberated across the world, proving that even in the chaos of war and revolution, a single moment can set the course of history on a new trajectory. History is shaped by moments of both triumph and tragedy, where the actions of individuals ignite change that ripples through time. From the fall of Constantinople to the discovery of the Pacific, from Handel's rebirth to the rise of La Marseillaise, from Souter's shattered dreams to Lenin's revolutionary return, these episodes reveal the delicate yet transformative power of human will and ingenuity. Each story reminds us that great change often hinges on decisions made in moments of uncertainty. Whether driven by ambition, resilience, or vision, these figures demonstrate the profound impact of individual choices on the course of history. Their legacies challenge us to reflect on our own actions. In a world still shaped by collective and personal decisions, we too hold the potential to leave our mark. What star moments might arise from the choices we make today?